never see, and there's some things that's hard to unsee. What do all of these have in common? They all have in common, please put this in your notes, they all have in common what we call a neurostrategy framework. It looks kind of like this. And this is a little bit of a derivative of what was originally called spiral dynamics. And this is developed by Claire Graves and is further refined by a gentleman by the name of Chris Cohen and Natasha Todorovic. And so essentially, the way this model works is that if you look at it in life, people are going along in life where what's going on outside, we can handle it inside. So we oftentimes say that our mind capacities can equal our life conditions. This is a state of stasis where everything's comfortable. Turn to your neighbor and give them the best look of being totally comfortable. For some of you, you won't have to move that much. There you go. Now, how many of you, and say that's going to be segment A, how many of you have ever gotten to that point where, Scooby-Doo goes, ruh-roh, something happened. Something happened where what's worked in the past isn't going to work in the future, or what's been stable in the past is no longer stable. How many of you have ever been there before? Whether it was something that you did, somebody else did, the economy, another country, whatever. Yeah, and this is where people, they get in a lot of fear. And then this is right here where people go down into incredible amounts of what? Pain. Because they start to say, oh my gosh, this is awful. I can't believe this is happening to me. And when they go down into this pain, here's the question. Well, first of all, how many of you have ever been there? Honest people. Yeah. Yes. How many of you in the past not only have been there, you kind of lived there a little bit too long, if you're going to be really honest with yourself? Awesome. Thank you for being honest. Why did people live in pain?
They're used to it.
Comfort. They're used to it, but it gives them something. What? They're scared, possibly, but it's part of being scared.
Also because it hurts so much they stop feeling it.
Yeah, it hurts so much they stop feeling it. It is so close. You're circling and playing around. Here's what she's really saying. It gives them energy. Because remember, what happens if you see a hospital? So if you have the little, basically the heart rate monitor going bleep, bleep, bleep. What happens if it goes bleep? You're what? You're dead. So we need to have energy. A lot of people, they want to have positive energy, but if they don't think they can do it or they don't think they can get it consistently, what do? They'll go for negative energy. Why? Because they know how to do it. And as long as they can blame somebody else, nobody can say, hey, this is what you need to do, as long as I can blame somebody else or somebody else in the past. So at this point, they go down such pain that they get down here to point D. D is where they realize that change is no longer a should, it's a what? It's a must. In fact, for many people, there's an expression where it says it scares the what out of you? The bejesus or the dickens out of you. Hint, hint. How many of you ever been to a UPW before? Yes. So what happens if you keep on running this? Imagine I was a lot taller. If you keep on running these patterns, what's that been taken away from your life in the past? What's that taken away from your life right now and in the future? You get down to the point of what's called the threshold, where you say what? No more. No more. And a lot of people, what do? They basically are like bugs, and they're just avoiding like the light, like bugs in the light. I've been up in the countryside in Manchester a few years back. You guys have mosquitoes the size of my Jack Russells. And these mosquitoes, no, seriously, they're huge. And they're going along. And imagine if you have to say Mr. and Mrs. Mosquito. They're coming home from a long day of blood sucking, and and they see a big flame over there. Do they go, honey, look, a flame. That's nice. And keep on going? Or do they what? They go to the flame. Why? It's pretty. It's also, it's what? It's hot. It's warm.
It's comfort.
It's something that is distracting them, something that's getting their attention. Everything nowadays, especially online, whether it's the media, offline, online, everything is competing for our attention. If we're focusing on what we don't want, guess what? We're going to get it, whether we like it or not. If we focus on what we do want, there's a higher chance we'll get it, but not always guaranteed. So what happens? A lot of people, they focus like the bugs. And by the way, do these mosquitoes, do they go into the flames and burn up their little wings? No, they go to where it gets too what? Too hot, too deep. It gets too what? Too painful, and they go away, and they just keep on going around and around. How many of you ever seen a bug go, oh my gosh, this is too hot, I'm never ever coming back, and they go somewhere else? No! They keep on going back. Why? Because these little bugs don't have the intellect that you and your neighbor have. Turn to your neighbor and say, you have the intellect of this. Make sure they know that. You need to know what your compelling future is. You need to know what is on the other side of this. How many of you have been where if we were to draw this to scale, the D would be down in the basement of this hotel? Yes, we've all been there. 5 years ago, it's 5.5 years ago, I was volunteering, speaking, training a lot of the folks at Robin's Leadership, and then I was also speaking at the same time across town for another organization. I was going back and forth, and I was on stage, and somebody said, how do you overcome devastating loss? And for the last year, I've been working with a community back on the East Coast of the United States that was involved in a pretty horrific incident. And I said, listen, I could even lose it all. And you still have who you are and what you're about, your identity, and so on. Well, in looking at the security footage from my home and the footage of me on stage, about 10 minutes after I said that, a little 3/4-inch water pipe burst and destroyed my house and everything in it, and led to a 5-year legal battle with an amazing insurance company that I just ended about a month and a half ago. It was interesting. That's the nicest way I can put it, because I know we're filming. Now, this would be I think that's somewhere down in China. If it goes through the center of the earth, kind of a pain. How many have been through that? Been through that before? And you're thinking, oh my gosh. And people are looking like, how did you even find your way out of that? Simple. Same thing we all can do. I look at, what do I want my life to be about? What would the person 5 years